A lot of people are curious about the status of P. Diddy.
Status of what?
P. Diddy. Diddy.
The status of puppy.
What do you make of that situation? All right. No comment from Clive Davis.
So the relationship between Clive Davis and Diddy is interesting because when Diddy's 23 years old, he's making a name for himself. Clive gave him $15 million to start Bad Boy Records. And then later on, they did even a bigger deal where Clive gave him $50 million advance on future earnings. This is 5 years later in 1998. $6 million upfront payment, $700,000 annual salary, and a state-of-the-art recording studio. We're talking a $2 million recording studio. This is when he went after Faith Evans. He got Biggie in the early 90s. This is when it started.
Marriage failed. I opened up myself to the possibility of a person rather than a gender. I have never stopped being attracted to women. So we're now dealing with a subject of sexuality. This subject is very misunderstood because the old adage is you're either gay, you're straight, or you're lying. It's just not true. And so I spend a few pages.
I walked in Jimmy's office. I didn't have to knock on the door or get somebody let Jimmy know Mr. Knight there. Walk right in. He do the same. Anyway, when he walked in my office, we was having a conversation. He overheard somebody say something he probably shouldn't have heard. He wanted to holler at me. So I tell the homies, give me a minute. Jimmy said, man, I'm here because Clive Davis called me and him and Puppy is real tight. And,
For years, Chaka Khan kept quiet, but now she's allegedly naming names, specifically pointing the finger at none other than P. Diddy and the music mogul Clive Davis.
So-called music industry is such a demonic.
Real white party. Make some noise if you've been here before. Okay. And to all the kids have like an hour left. So get extra comfortable, kids, because after that.
All right, folks, today we're diving headfirst into one of the juiciest, most shocking betrayals the music world has ever seen. We're talking Diddy, Clive Davis, secret vaults, backroom deals, and a mountain of scandals that could take down entire empires. So grab your tea, settle in, and get ready, because once we start peeling back these layers, you'll see that when legends fall, they don't fall alone. Let's get into it.
Do you believe that Diddy was working for Intel?
Well, if you go in and see what Suge Knight said, when Suge called in from prison and we did the call together, it was 6 collect calls, 15 minutes each. He said, nobody learns a behavior like this. This is taught. So who could teach him about being an informant? Well, Diddy's father was an informant when he was working with Frank Lucas. If you've ever seen the movie American Gangster with Frank Lucas, played by Denzel Washington, Frank Lucas was a guy that was a boss. He had $275 million of cash at one point.
Davis's name kept coming up because there was rumors and allegations, and again, allegations suggesting that there was a sexual relationship between Clive Davis and Sean Diddy.
Tupac hit us with Hit 'Em Up, and that joint was cold. I had to make the call to Biggie, and I said, we not gonna respond. Somebody's gonna get hurt.
Hopefully trying to see me weak, hearts I rip. Biggie Smalls and Junior Mafia, some more.
New court documents show that TPD Davis accused Sean Diddy Combs of paying $1 million for the of rap icon Tupac Shakur.
This is what happened when Big Boy challenged Ice Cube to call the most famous contact in his phone.
Hey man, if you dropped your phone, who could I call that's in your phone?
The most famous person?
Yeah, besides you.
Snoop.
Call him. See if he'll take your call.
Come on, man.
I know if I call Dre will pick up.
All right. If he's out somewhere.
What's going on with you and Snoop?
Man, I don't know, man. He hit me back.
No.
Snoop Dogg. You know, we up here, up at Big Boy, and he was wondering if I was important enough for you to pick up.
What up, dog?
I said you was trying to call me. You ain't important. You too. I just seen his name on my phone. I was like, neglect.
Clive Davis put Sean Combs in position. That's what Clive Davis does. The amount of abuse that Janis Joplin suffered when she wanted to leave Clive Davis management. The amount of abuse Whitney Houston suffered when she was ready to write her book. And then all of the abuse that she suffered. You know,
don't nobody want to talk about why R. Kelly's bus was parked in Clive Davis's driveway, why his tour bus was parked in Clive Davis's driveway at the house where the went down between Chris and Rihanna. Don't nobody want to talk about why it was filled with video girls who were being
Now grab your snacks, because this story, it's pure industry drama. The kind people only whisper about in penthouses and stress over behind closed doors. It's the old tale we've all heard, the powerful music legend and his shining young protege. At first, it was pure magic. Picture this, a Harlem kid with endless swagger, big dreams, and wild ambition. And who's guiding him? None other than Clive freaking Davis, the man, the myth, the godfather of hit records. Together, they weren't just making songs, they were building an empire. Clive saw something special in young Diddy, and with his sharp eye and deep pockets, they became an unstoppable force. But oh, how quickly the tables turn.
About these guys. So genetics, you can learn from there, right? Clive Davis, first deal he does with Diddy, according to research you could do in 1993, at 23 years old, Clive gives him $1.5 million to get his career going with his record that he started signing Biggie, signing, all these other, Little Kim, all these guys. That was with the help of Clive's $1.5 million. Some say there was something given in return. And then obviously later on when he wrote his memoir, Clive Davis came out and said, look, this is the first time I'm ever saying this publicly.
Clive Davis, what is your opinion about the Melendez brothers? Do you think they should be out?
How you doing, Mr. Davis?
How are you?
Good.
Do you have any opinions about Mr. Melendez?
American Music Awards. Are you going to be there? The AMAs, American Music Awards. Mr. Davis, what if we have? Oops, sorry. Watch yourself. If we have one question, Mr. Davis.
Fast forward, and what was once a fairy tale is now a straight-up nightmare. And right smack in the middle of it, Diddy. Yep, that Diddy. And here's the kicker. Clive Davis, his once loyal mentor, is now cozying up to the feds. Can you say betrayal? Back in the day, they ruled the music world. Clive had the golden ear. Diddy had the vision and drive. They didn't just chase hits, they built a dynasty. Bad Boy Records wasn't just a label, it was a whole vibe. Biggie, Faith Evans, Maze, hit after hit. While Diddy was front and center, dancing in shiny suits, Clive was the mastermind behind the scenes, pulling the strings, sealing the deals. This wasn't just some friendly mentorship. This was a calculated grooming to build a music powerhouse.
This is the most disturbing Diddy clip that I've seen so far, and it really honestly makes you realize that everyone who went to these parties isn't so innocent.
Okay, we gonna have DJ Cassidy right now get on the ones and twos. We fed y'all, we gave y'all some drinks, now it's time to enjoy life. This is a celebration of life. This is a legendary white party. It's the real white party. Make some noise if you've been here before. Okay. And to all the kids have like an hour left. So get extra comfortable, kids, because after that, y'all gotta go. It's a wrap for y'all, because this thing turns into something that when y'all get older, y'all don't want to come to. Okay? So, let's just start to get our groove on a little bit. In an hour, we put the kids away, it's all good. Hey, DJ.
And when things got messy, Clive didn't budge. When Diddy got heat during the East Coast versus West Coast rap war, Clive stood right there. After the nightclub shooting in '99, Clive stayed firm. Even when Diddy settled that nasty SA case, Clive kept backing him. He wasn't just a mentor, he was Diddy's shield. But let's be real, armor doesn't last forever. Clive was never the passive type, sipping champagne in the background. Oh no, this was a man who was active, hands-on, always steering the ship. That's why he survived and thrived in the cutthroat music world from the 1960s all the way to the 80s and beyond. And now, we're just seeing how sharp Clive really is. Because this move to work with the feds, that's not guilt talking, that's pure strategy.
He starts with Def Jam. He leaves Def Jam and he founds Uptown Records, right? And then Uptown Records is where Diddy cuts his teeth at Uptown Records and things of that nature. And he gets introduced to Clive Davis, who becomes his second mentor. There is no Russell that we know without the Andre Harrell. There was a dude at CBS Records, was a billionaire that took over, and his name was Lawrence Tish. And Lawrence Tish is one of the founders of the mega group that includes Wexler out of Columbus, Ohio, and whatnot. These are all billionaires who come together and form these groups, but these billionaires are tied in to quote unquote the mafia. So going back to Clive Davis has a very, very dark history from the minute. Go ahead, Blue.
So after decades of riding high together, why is Clive suddenly ghosting Diddy when he's at his lowest? It's all about survival. Clive Davis isn't just any record executive, he's a legacy. We're talking about a 90-something legend, completely obsessed with how history will remember him. He turned Whitney Houston into a global icon, but her tragic downfall left a stain on his name. He can't afford another disaster sticking to him. Not now. Not with Diddy's name swirling in scandal that could set entire empires on fire. So what does Clive do? He doesn't talk. He plans. He pulls a Houdini and disappears from Diddy's side, leaving the media and the world to fill in the blanks. This isn't just him backing away. This is a full-on escape. Word on the street? Clive's already chatting with the feds. Sources close to the investigation are saying Mr. Davis is feeding them info on Diddy. The details are locked up tight, but the stakes? Oh, they're massive.
Hi, David. What is your opinion about the Melendez brothers? Do you think they should be out?
How you doing, Mr. Davis?
How are you?
Good.
Do you have any opinions about Mr. the Melendez?
American Music Awards. Are you going to be there? The AMAs, American Music Awards? Mr. Davis, what if we have? Oh, sorry. Watch yourself. If we have one question, Mr. Davis, about Sean Puffy Combs, do you have anything to say about that situation?
No.
Nothing? Anything to say about Puffy?
Do you support him?
Anything to say about Puffy at all?
Well, you're a savage.
How was dinner, Miss Haskell? Well, you know, the big story.
A man like Clive flipping on his own protege, that's not just business, that's desperation, wrapped up in designer silk. Remember, Bad Boy wasn't just Diddy's playground. It was a joint venture with Arista Records, aka Clive's baby. Financially, professionally, personally, these two were locked together. So if the feds are closing in on Diddy, you better believe Clive's name is sitting right there on the paperwork too. But Clive, he's not just doing damage control. Translation? He's throwing Diddy under the bus to save his own legacy. Cold-blooded? Absolutely. But effective? You bet. He's making sure the world sees him as clean, corporate, and untouchable. While Diddy's empire, it's going up in flames. And Clive's the one holding the match.
Man, he learned from Andre Harrell. He learned from Russell Simmons. He learned from Clive Davis. You understand? When those people are telling you that they were heavy into the drugs, they was heavy into beating women and doing things at that age, at that crazy stage, that's gonna make him think that he could get away with the same thing that they was getting away with back then. You understand? The things that he was saying, you know, the touchy-feely between two men and all that stuff like that, man. All that, he learned that from them dudes. When I told y'all the story, when me and my man went up to Russell Simmons and he had a house and he had a man in bikini drawers in his bedroom, in his bed. You understand? Bruh, this is that he learned. I'm assuming he learned it from them.
And the courtroom drama? It's thick. Cassie walked in, brown dress, visibly pregnant, head held high, no eye contact. Everyone was watching. They hadn't seen each other since Kim Porter's funeral back in 2018. And now, here they were, facing off in court. Sean Combs couldn't say a word. He just sat there in silence, while Cassie laid out the details of their decade-long relationship. And the fallout? Catastrophic. Diddy's protector, his fixer, the man who used to make the scandals vanish with one phone call, Clive, is now reportedly whispering straight into the ears of investigators. Meanwhile, Diddy stands there, all alone in court, alone for the first time in his entire career. And, oh, it hurts. People close to Diddy say this betrayal cut deep. This wasn't just business, this was family. Decades of trust, late-night studio calls, secret deals in fancy hotel suites, and now it's all turned to ash. Diddy is standing alone, his once famous charisma cracking under the pressure, his allies disappearing one by one, and the one man who could have saved him? Oh, he's the same man holding the dagger, Clive Davis.
It is amazing the reckoning that's happening right now, whether it's with Epstein or with Diddy. Do you see the similarities? Your reporting has brought together some similarities for sure on this. Do you believe that Diddy was working for Intel?
Well, if you go in and see what Suge Knight said, when Suge called in from prison and we did the call together, it was 6 collect calls, 15 minutes each. He said, nobody learns a behavior like this. This is taught. So who could teach him about being an informant? Well, Diddy's father was an informant when he was working with Frank Lucas. If you've ever seen the movie American Gangster with Frank Lucas, played by Denzel Washington, Frank Lucas was a guy that was a boss. He had $275 million of cash at one point. Eventually, they caught him. And the story has it that Diddy's father was an FBI informant leaking a lot of information to the FBI about these guys. So genetics, you can learn from there, right? Clive Davis, first deal he does with Diddy, according to research you could do in 1993, at 23 years old, Clive gives him $1.5 million to get his career going with his record that he started signing Biggie, signing, all these other, Little Kim, all these guys. That was with the help of Clive's $1.5 million. Some say there was something given in return. And then obviously later on when he wrote his memoir, Clive Davis came out and said, look, this is the first time I'm ever saying this publicly. I hope this makes people feel comfortable that it's okay, that you can talk about it openly. So that's Clive Davis that offer $1.5 million, kind of weird. Later on in 1998, Clive signs a $50 million contract, a deal that they do. You can research this on your own as well. With Diddy, $6 million, I think, was up front, $700,000 salary per year, $2 million studio that he builds from, and obviously from there, Diddy takes off. Who knows what happened behind closed doors?
In the courtroom, the tension is thick. As soon as Cassie took the stand, you could see Sean Combs hanging on to every word. The jurors were glued to her. She was the star witness, the key figure in this entire mess. Remember that civil suit from 2023 that settled after just one day after it was filed? Yeah, she's the one who connects all the dots. But let's get real for a second. Why is Clive doing this now? Is this about guilt? Some last-minute moral cleanse before he faces the afterlife? Or is it pure survival instinct? Because Clive Davis isn't just playing the game. He's rewriting the whole damn playbook in real time. By turning on Diddy, Clive is reshaping his own image. No more puppet master. No more silent partner. Now he's the wise old veteran, warning the world about the wolf he once raised. He's flipping the script, positioning himself as innocent. But let's be honest, in this cutthroat industry, loyalty is just a joke. And Clive's betrayal, it's a cold, sharp reminder that success can cost you everything, even your soul. Meanwhile, Diddy is spiraling. His reputation is shredded. His empire is crumbling. And with Clive out of the picture, he has no one left to shield him from the storm. And oh yeah, the tea, it just keeps pouring. Cassie shared that about a year into her relationship with Sean Combs, he introduced her to something called the freak-off. Basically, he wanted to watch her with someone else. Classic voyeurism. She admitted she went along with it because she was just 21 or 22, too young to know better, and desperate to please him. But let's be clear, this betrayal, it's just one messy chapter in a whole book of horrors. To really understand what's going down, we have to dig deeper. Clive and Diddy weren't just business partners. They were tangled up in ways the tabloids never dared to print, feeding conspiracy theories for years. And now with Diddy drowning in lawsuits and criminal investigations, every old rumor is crawling back to the surface. And Clive's name is getting dragged right along with it. This isn't just betrayal, this is a powder keg, and the fuse has been lit. And here's where the tea just keeps pouring. Cassie once admitted she even looked forward to those so-called freak-offs, not because she wanted them, but because it gave her one-on-one time with Combs. And back then, she really loved him. Let that sink in for a second. The prosecution asked her if she ever enjoyed them, and she got choked up, explaining it was all about wanting his attention, his affection. Messy, right? So let's spill the tea that's been bubbling behind the scenes for years. Whispers about what Clive Davis and Diddy really were to each other have never truly gone away. This wasn't just mentorship. It wasn't just business. If you listened to Suge Knight, it was something darker. Control, pure and consuming. Suge didn't hold back when he threw out bombshell claims that Diddy wasn't just backed by Clive, he was owned by him. Molded, managed, manipulated, way beyond the music.
A lot of people are curious about the status of P. Diddy.
Status of what?
P. Diddy. Diddy.
The status of
What do you make of that situation? All right. No comment from Clive Davis.
This is what happened when Big Boy challenged Ice Cube to call the most famous contact in his phone.
Hey man, if you dropped your phone, who could I call that's in your phone?
The most famous person?
Yeah, besides you.
Snoop.
Call him. See if he'll take your call.
Come on, man.
I know if I call Dre will pick up.
All right.
If he's out somewhere.
What's going on with you and Snoop?
Man, I don't know, man. He hit me back.
No.
Snoop Dogg. You know, we up here up at Big Boy, and he was wondering if I was important enough for you to pick up.
What up, dog?
I said you was trying to call me. You ain't important. You too. I just seen his name on my phone. I was like, neglect.
And the way Suge told it, this wasn't about creative magic or big industry dreams. It was about grooming, about exploitation, about manipulation that reeked of something way too ugly for red carpets and flashing cameras. The accusations were horrifying. Suge painted Diddy not as a mogul, but as a puppet, someone groomed, not just to serve the industry, but to serve Clive Davis himself.
I walked in Jimmy's office. I didn't have to knock on the door or get somebody let Jimmy know Mr. Knight there. Walk right in. He do the same. Anyway, when he walked in my office, we was having a conversation. He overheard somebody say something he probably shouldn't have heard. He wanted to holler at me. So I tell the homies, give me a minute. Jimmy said, man, I'm here because Clive Davis called me and him and Puffy is real tight and, lovers. So I thought he was talking about like they got love for each other. So, all right. He said, yeah, they are lovers. I said, well, why you keep saying that? I said, look, you saying they lovers like they sucking? He said, I don't want to say that, but that's what it means, right? I said, okay. He said, Clive don't want nothing to happen to Puffy. He said, but this guy ain't gonna be able to do his business because we know what he did, what they did.
It was extreme. It was disturbing. But here's the kicker. It stuck. Fans went back through old interviews, rewatching every awkward glance, every half smile, every weird body language moment, dissecting them like they were secret clues. Suddenly, everything felt suspect. And as the courtroom drama unfolded, the layers of psychological and even potential physical maltreatment were laid bare. Cassie's story showed someone young, swept up by dreams of a music career, signing a 10-album deal with Bad Boy Entertainment, completely under the spell of Sean Combs. It's a dark, tangled mess, and it's only getting messier.
So the relationship between Clive Davis and Diddy is interesting because when Diddy's 23 years old, he's making a name for himself, Clive gave him $15 million to start Bad Boy Records. And then later on, they did even a bigger deal where Clive gave him $50 million advance on future earnings. This is 5 years later in 1998. $6 million upfront payment, $700,000 annual salary, and a state-of-the-art recording studio. We're talking a $2 million recording studio. This is when he went after Faith Evans. He got Biggie in the early 90s. This is when it started. But there's a relationship with Clive. And it's interesting because Clive later on, they say something may have happened here because Suge said Clive taught him the bad habits. And later on, Clive comes out and says the following. Yes, record mogul Clive Davis has identified as being by he publicly revealed in his memoir, this is not allegedly, he said it, the soundtrack of my life. At the age of 80, he also discussed in an interview with Katie Couric, expressing the hope that his coming out would contribute to greater understanding of duality. It's Clive Davis.
Just when everyone thought the smoke might clear, Jaguar Wright stormed in and dumped gasoline on the whole fire. Jaguar, bold, loud, and so over keeping the industry secrets, blew the lid right off the situation. According to her, Clive didn't just groom Diddy, he allegedly ruled over a whole stable of stars with an iron grip. And Diddy? He wasn't just some innocent victim. Jaguar claimed he actually helped run the machine. Jaguar painted a chilling picture. Clive using every tool in his arsenal, threats, favors, manipulation, money, to keep the artist in line. Want a Grammy? Play by the rules. Want radio airplay? Better stay obedient. Want to walk away? Ha! Good luck with that. And Diddy? Jaguar said he played along just fine, even stepping into the enforcer role, especially at those infamous parties.
Clive Davis put Sean Combs in position. That's what Clive Davis does. The amount of abuse that Janis Joplin suffered when she wanted to leave Clive Davis management. The amount of abuse Whitney Houston suffered when she was ready to write her book. And then all of the abuse she suffered. You know, Luther Vandross, it was nasty work, Clive. Swinging it at Jay-Z's knees. I'm swinging it at Clive Davis's knees, and I'm swinging it at anybody else's knees who has had anything to do with this tyranny, with this evil.
And let's talk about those parties. Jaguar said they weren't just social events or networking mixers. They were traps, setups, seductions, all designed to test and lure young artists into situations they weren't ready for, while powerful men stood by watching, judging, and picking their next moves. If even half of that is true, this isn't just scandal, this is evil.
Everyone knew he was the devil. He's been the devil for 30 years. He's been covered and protected by not only Clive Davis, but Lucian Grange. He was selected to be the demon that he is, to keep the culture in line so the industry could continue to rip it for all of its precious jewels.
How dangerous do you think he is as a person?
I think he's one of the most dangerous people I've ever met.
It gets creepier. Jaguar swears Clive kept receipts. Allegedly, there's a vault. Yes, a literal vault, full of videos, audios, signed NDAs, and career-ending dirt. Blackmail insurance, who knows? But Jaguar claimed if you crossed Clive, he had all the ammo he needed to wipe you out. Just picture it. Every secret meeting, every shady deal, every compromising moment, all stashed away in some twisted archive.
Don't nobody want to talk about why R. Kelly's bus was parked in Clive Davis's driveway, why his tour bus was parked in Clive Davis's driveway at the house where the went down between Chris and Rihanna. Don't nobody want to talk about why it was filled with video girls who were being trafficked. And he was never questioned by Me Too. Why ain't nobody from Me Too saying anything? They had so much to say about Harvey Weinstein, who's now all his charges is being dropped. So much for their investigation.
Is it real? Nobody can say for sure. But even the idea of it has turned this federal investigation into something way more sinister. If Clive really holds that kind of leverage, and he's now whispering to the feds, you gotta wonder, what exactly is he trading? And the plot only thickens from here.
Davis's name kept coming up because there was rumors and allegations, and again, allegations suggesting that there was a sexual relationship between Clive Davis and Sean Diddy. All rumors, because mind you, in 1993, Puffy was fired from Uptown Records and he started Bad Boy Entertainment, but he needed the money. Clive Davis, head of Arista Records, saw the potential and went 50-50 joint venture, but the rumors are that they had some type of hooking up with each other. I mean, dude, that guy just looks very, very sus in general. And Clive Davis publicly came out as in 2013 in his memoir, The Soundtrack of My Life, where he discussed his relationship with both men and women, but didn't involve or mention anybody's name.
For years, people have been side-eyeing Clive's connection to Whitney Houston and the tragic, heartbreaking demise of her daughter, Bobby Christina. Two icons, gone under eerily similar circumstances. Theories have swirled for ages. Did Clive know more than he ever let on? Was there a darker truth hiding behind all those public tributes and glamorous memorials? And now, with Diddy's scandal dragging Clive's name right back into the spotlight, all those old theories are clawing their way back from the grave. And what exactly did Clive know? And how far would he really go to protect his empire? Did his loyalty have a breaking point? Or were the stars around him just disposable when things got tough? For years, Clive's been painted as the maestro behind the curtain, the genius shaping pop culture, discovering legends, making icons. But what if that was just the polished PR version? What if the real Clive was a master manipulator, building his empire on secrets, silence, and sacrifices?
Why did TLC hold Arista hostage The record?
The record company, Clive Davis, we held them hostage like the whole shebang. Yeah, it was like that. Because TLC had generated on Crazy Sexy Cool $75 million, and they gave us $50,000 a piece. So I was like, what the hell? So we went up there and held everybody hostage, and Puffy was the one that snitched us out. Yo, B, yo, your girl's up here mad bugging, yo. And I was like, oh, Puff, why you gonna snitch us out, dog? But he called it, yeah, because we kicked him out of the meeting.
Diddy didn't just magically become a mogul, he was built into one. And as Diddy's power kept growing, maybe Clive started feeling it slip out of his hands. When Clive once said that music has a unique, meaningful role in society, not just for the listeners, but for him too. It wasn't when Diddy was shining on top of the world. It came when Diddy was at his lowest, drowning in lawsuits, tangled in criminal probes, getting shredded by public opinion. Funny timing, right? Clive, the same man who once stood by Diddy through every mess, is now the guy helping the government. He's reshaping his image, rebranding himself as the wise old statesman, the one ready to clean up the industry. But let's not get it twisted. This isn't about doing the right thing. This is about survival. Clive's pointing fingers while making sure his own fingerprints stay wiped clean. And don't forget those whispers about the vault, the one supposedly full of incriminating evidence on Diddy and who knows who else. If Clive really kept all that dirt, is he using it now? Is he trading those secrets for protection, for immunity, just enough to shield himself while Diddy burns? Because if that's true, this isn't just betrayal, it's a masterclass in ruthless, cutthroat survival. Clive once said he had a special connection with artists, with music, and oh, he definitely knew he had that connection with Diddy. But now the whole music industry is shaking. This isn't just another scandal. This is an earthquake. Artists who used to post throwback pics with Clive and Diddy are suddenly scrubbing their feeds. Labels are rushing to put out safe, bland statements. Everyone's panicking, desperate to scrub their names clean before this fire spreads even further.
Now, Diddy, we know Clive Davis has been your boyfriend for many, many years. Clive Davis is the reason why you have been able to be a gatekeeper, in this music industry. Everybody know that Clive Davis is he has a boyfriend with the rainbow community, and you have been his boyfriend for quite some time, so this is why you was able to, hold these keys, so to speak, to these gates. It's going to be a whole lot of record executives, man, going down because of this. A lot of people are already resigning. But, man, Clive Davis, brother, you're done. They call that vicarious liability. Vicarious liability is when they say that shit rolls downhill. Well, vicarious liability is shit goes uphill. That means the person at the top is responsible for everything at the bottom, even if they don't know them. So Clive Davis, brother, you done with a whole lot of other record executives.
And the fans, they're crushed. The people they admired, the songs they loved, the albums that soundtracked their childhoods, now all feel tainted, dirty, fake. Because now, it's not just about Diddy's alleged crimes or Clive's betrayal. It's all about the whole system. A machine built on power, manipulation, and silence. And here's the question that's got everyone sweating. Who's next? If Clive Davis can toss Diddy under the bus, Diddy, his crown jewel, his Frankenstein's monster, then no one is safe. What other secrets are buried in that vault? How many careers were bought, sold, and sacrificed to keep the truth buried? And here's the scariest part. We've only scratched the surface. Because when legends fall, they don't fall alone. What a ride. If you're as shook as I am by this tangled web of betrayal, power plays, and industry secrets, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and smash that notification bell so you don't miss the next deep dive. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Whose side are you on? And what do you think is still hiding in that vault? Spill your theories below. And I'll see you in the next one. Stay spicy, stay curious, and keep sipping that tea.